It is cool. And I usually don't say that.
I was like, I don't really.
Usually talk all the time.
Change the batteries, then that it better work.
Would you call the roll, please?
Danielle McKenzie. Here. Jason Blair. Melissa Hunt.
Here.
Louis Williams.
Here.
Adam Webb.
Here.
Mark Ham. Glenn Lewis.
Here. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item C is to receive a presentation from Fire Chief Herbst. There you go.
Mayor and Council, I just wanted to bring you up to date on some things we've been working on with Oklahoma City and Norman Fire Departments to move towards an automatic aid agreement in lieu of our mutual aid agreement we've had for many years. With us tonight, we have our Deputy Chief Ryan Marler and Oklahoma City Fire Chief Richard Kelly. Richard Kelly is also a Moore graduate, grew up here in Moore, so City of Moore is very dear to his heart, and he's very interested in protecting our community and doing everything he can to help us. So of course, our Oklahoma State statute just defines an emergency as an instance for which assistance is needed to supplement local efforts and capabilities to save lives and to protect property. Each participant of the system shall recognize that emergencies transcend political and jurisdictional boundaries, and that we're all automatically part of the statewide mutual aid system unless we elect not to be part of that system. So this here is a comparison of room furnishings, and there's multiple reasons to show you this short little video here to kind of give an illustration of what we're dealing with in the 21st century in the fire service, and it's something that all departments are dealing with, not just ours. You can see the legacy room is furnished with old furnishings like we all grew up with. You know, the furnishings we had in our homes growing up were all natural products, fibers, you know, wool, cotton, silk. Couches were covered in cotton covers. They were made out of real wood. Your coffee tables were made out of real wood. Your televisions had wood cabinets around them, as opposed to the modern room, which is in all of our homes today. Everything is synthetic. Everything is man-made products. Most of it's petroleum-based. It burns very hot. It burns very fast. Lots of plastics in our homes today. They off-gas a tremendous amount of toxic smoke. And as you'll see through this video, that smoke is very dangerous. The smoke is what actually gets most occupants before the fire ever gets to them. It's the smoke. When I started in the fire service 30 years ago, dealing with these legacy rooms, you know, that the fire would double in size about every 2 to 3 minutes. Looking at the modern room, you know, these fires are doubling every 20 to 30 seconds. So response time is very important in our industry. And again, with the speed and growth of the fire, it's also very important to have adequate manpower to be able to put on the scene and help us work safely and effectively and do whatever we can to preserve life and property. As you know, we've all been part of this mutual aid system. Our department is here to make emergency calls. We want to do what's best for the citizens regardless of jurisdictional boundaries. You know, our residents, Oklahoma City, Norman residents, they want to do, they just want someone to show up. They don't care what truck's on, what name is on the side of the truck. If, you know, they're having an emergency, they want help. We've benefited so much through mutual aid agreements, especially over the last 30 years I've been here, through all the natural disasters that we've had. We've had a great partnership with our neighboring departments with mutual aid services. You can only imagine the headache we would have getting through those natural disasters without our neighboring departments. And Oklahoma City and Norman have been very, very helpful to us, not only through tornadoes, but through other emergencies that we don't have the capabilities of handling. Just looking at the room on the right, here we're at 3 minutes and 10 seconds. You can see the amount of black smoke that's off-gassing from all those synthetic products. And that's just a fuel. Once that smoke reaches the appropriate temperature, it's going to flash over and that room is going to be fully involved. If you look at here, we're at 3 minutes and 30 seconds and we're at pretty much total involvement in that room. So that's just an idea. I just showed you that to help you realize, excuse me, how valuable 3 minutes can be in our life and what we do in a response time. Look at the old legacy room there. That room doesn't flash for about 30 minutes. So just completely different fire service today than we had 30 years ago. So with all that being said, it's going to show you what our response pattern looks like. Every truck that we have in service, we have a minimum of 4 guys on there daily. Our residential fire response, we respond to 1 ladder truck, 2 engines, and a battalion chief, which is anywhere from 13 to 17 personnel, depending on how many people are off. Our commercial fire response is a ladder, 3 engines, 1 battalion chief, which gives us 17 to 22 personnel. So you can imagine a residential fire like right behind City Hall here, we have 13 to 17 personnel. What if that Warren Theater catches on fire? We only have the capabilities of adding 4 to 5 more people until we call in the troops. NFPA, they set the industry standards for the fire service, and these are their minimum recommendations. So a residential structure fire, they want a minimum of 15 firefighters, which we're in good shape on that. Apartment complex, 28 firefighters. Open air shopping center, 28 firefighters, and a high rise, 42 firefighters. And that's where we kind of struggle in our department. What's going to make this auto aid agreement very helpful for us. This is kind of a heat map of the structure fires we had in 2019. So all the little blue dots represent a structure fire inside our city limits. So we had 23 working fires last year. This map right here kind of shows the area we're looking at with the auto aid agreement going 2 to 3 miles outside of our city limits, and it shows the location of all the Oklahoma City fire stations and Norman Station number 9. And those of you who didn't know, Oklahoma City just opened a new station down R34th Street, which is 164th, just about 5 miles east of Station 3. So those are all available resources that we could have available to us. Not all of them, but where they're located at. And then if you look at, I believe it's the red stars where our stations are located, we're very fortunate to have very strategically located fire stations where we have good response time and coverage in our city limits. But look, just say along Santa Fe Avenue right there, and if you had loved ones that lived in Eastlake or Talavera or Stone Meadows, or heaven forbid Santa Fe Elementary, which is about half a mile from our new fire station, which is in Oklahoma City limits, you know, I think you would want us to respond in those situations. Skip on there. This is a heat map of Oklahoma City and Norman's working structure fires last year. Oklahoma City had 12 fires in this area and Norman had 4. So I'm sure that's going to fluctuate every year. Last year we had more than they did. Next year they may have more than us, but it's pretty comparable. So looking at helping each other out, it's going to be pretty even. Oklahoma City has agreed to, when we call for aid from them, to send us an additional engine with 4 guys, ladder truck with 4 guys, and a battalion chief. That also comes with a driver. So that's adding an additional 10 personnel to all of our fire scenes. And on the south end of town, Norman's agreed to send their ladder truck from Station 8, which is right down Telephone Road, just a few miles south of our city limits. Now, Oklahoma City's only going to bring their ladder truck to 4th Street. Anything north of there, south of there, Norman will send their ladder truck. But Oklahoma City will send an engine and a chief even on the south side of town, so we'll have that 10 personnel. So the response model with mutual, or the automatic aid, will have 2 ladder trucks, 3 engines, 2 battalion chiefs, and bumps us up to 23 to 27 personnel on a residential fire. And on the commercial fire, 2 ladder trucks, 4 engines, 2 battalion chiefs, which gets us up to 27 to 30. And for us, going outside the city limits, we'll be sending 1 engine and 1 battalion chief. So pretty good deal for us, sending 5, receiving 10. But the huge benefit for Oklahoma City and Norman is just the proximity of our fire stations. And if we can get to a structure fire several minutes faster than they can and provide aid for those citizens, then that's a huge win for everybody. I think the main goal for doing this auto aid agreement is life safety and property conservation. If we can also benefit from that with the ISO ratings, and that's just icing on the cake. The biggest hurdle we have in our department or our city to get to an ISO 1 rating is manpower. With this agreement, that will give us credit for 10 additional personnel on the fire scene, which will help our ISO ratings. I don't know if that's going to get us to a 1, but that will definitely increase our ratings. And we won't know to our next audit how much that will affect. I talked to a couple insurance agents, and of course all of them use it a little different. Of course, Councilman Blair knows a lot about this. Farmers, the agent I talked to, they have a whole bunch of clients in Tulsa that just went from a 2 to a 1, and they said that increased or decreased their homeowners insurance about $750 to $1,000 a year, going from ISO 2 to ISO 1. But again, if that's a benefit, that's great, but the biggest reason for doing this is life safety and providing aid for the citizens. So again, if you guys have any questions for myself or Chief Kelly or Marla, we'll be happy to answer them.
Just explain to me, again, you may have said, I didn't hear the difference between the mutual aid and the auto aid. So mutual aid, anybody can call and say, hey, call Oklahoma City, come help us, or
Exactly.
call us. What's the...
On mutual aid, like if there's a fire in Talavera, we're not going to respond until they call and ask for our assistance. Automatic aid, and this is going to have to go with education for our dispatchers and the information that they receive on whether they're going to call for automatic aid. Oklahoma City, all their dispatchers are actual firefighters, so they have a little better understanding of what questions to ask. So they're going to find out if it's a working fire before they call our dispatch and they send us. So with a little bit of training, education, even on our dispatchers, make sure they ask the right questions. If it is a working fire, they will automatically call Oklahoma City Dispatch and say, hey, send us a response to this address.
If the, for whatever reason, the 911 call is directed to our 911 center, and it's outside of our city limits, we're going to go ahead and send, I guess it needs
Well,
the
if it's a
criteria.
911 call, it's in Oklahoma City limits, I think they would initially send that to Oklahoma City. Let them take the call, and if they need our resources, they'll call us. I mean, a lot of times, I guess, on cell phones, it may not go to the appropriate dispatch center, but I think anytime it's actually in Oklahoma City, our dispatch is going to transfer it as soon as possible to Oklahoma City or Norman.
But if fire units are within a quicker response time, will you go ahead and dispatch them?
Again, it just so situational dependent. I mean, it depends on what information they have. And I know once we start doing this automatic agreement that our dispatchers will have a better understanding of that. And if they realize that, hey, this is a working fire, then I'm sure they would send us or at least call the chief on duty and tell them what's going on and let them make that decision. And again, if our resources are tied up, we're not going to send them. You know, if we have something big going on and we don't have resources available, then we're not going to send them. Same thing for them. If they got something big going on, they don't have available trucks, they're not going to
Ensure that our
send them.
city's covered.
Correct. We're going to take care of our citizens first. We're going to make sure we have available units, and then if we do, then we'll send them. So, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, chiefs. Appreciate you coming. Item 2 is a consent docket. Item A is approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held December 16, 2019. Item B, approve an annual payment to the Cleveland County Assessor's Office for the 2019 visual inspection program in the amount of $29,217. Item C is grant an easement as described in Exhibit A to Oklahoma Gas and Electric to provide service to the Curve Apartments. Item D is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2019-2020 in the amount of $7,374,581.40. This is a consent docket. Motion to approve. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we'll recess the city council meeting and convene a public hearing. Item number 3 is hold a public hearing concerning the annexation of certain property into the city of Moore as described in Exhibit A of ordinance number 93120. Anybody want to say anything on this? Okay, we need to make a motion to. Okay, at this time, we will close the public hearing since there's no one else to speak. Do we take action on it? I guess we do.
Is it next item?
Next item is recess the public hearing and reconvene the city council meeting. Item number 4 is consider ordinance number 93120, extending the corporate limits of the city of Moore, Oklahoma, providing for the designation of the territory included in such extension, providing for the repeal of all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewithin, providing for the zoning of properties in the annexed territory and providing for severability thereof, providing for a repealer and declaring an emergency.
Mayor and Council, this ordinance is for the annexation by agreement of, originally in Exhibit A, there were 5 separate tracts. Tonight, I would ask that one of the council members make a motion to remove Tract 2 from the ordinance, renumber the other ordinances, or renumber the other tracts, and then proceed with voting yes or no on the annexation ordinance. Tracts in Exhibit A, tracts 1, 3, 4, and 5, we have had conversations, and there's 2 individuals involved, and they want the annexation to go through. Tract 2 is listed in Exhibit A, is for the Blue Lakes Baptist Church, and I have not received any contact from them. I think they do want to participate or voluntarily be annexed in. I'm just not confident or comfortable enough to say, yes, go ahead and do it. So it's easier to add them in later on than it might be to take them out later on. They're on the end. The property is located on the end of these other ones, so we can still include the remaining tracts.
And then we can add them later on. but-
Yes, yeah. Once we get an official confirmation from the church, then we can have this process done again and have it completed as soon as we get that word.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we.
I have some questions. Can you explain why we're doing this so everyone's very clear on this? Mostly everyone is in me. I feel like I'm a little bit unclear.
The owner
And
out
then-
there,
And then my second question though is, do we have a map of what these properties look like? Almost
Yes.
like a map like we get for zoning or something, so we can picture exactly where they are.
It's kind of a small map that was published. When the water individuals on this property approached Mr. Drake and asked him if they could be included, so that they can receive the water sewer. Those are kind of the tracks separated out.
So the citizens actually approached us about,
Yes, yes. There's actually just two of them.
okay, oh, okay, they own two people.
So two citizens and then Blue Lakes Baptist Church, and that's the one you're asking us to table? Because we haven't talked, okay.
Yeah, this is down on the very south end of the city.
And I know where Blue Lakes is, I just couldn't picture, we've seen visuals.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're probably right now about 90% sure that they want to participate. It's just I haven't heard anything from them, so I would not want to do it, and then all of a sudden we end up in a issue where, you know, church membership has decided, no, we don't want to do this, and so I'd like that confirmation.
So I make a motion that we amend ordinance 931 to remove track 2, renumber the remaining tracks, and move to approve the ordinance.
All right, thank you. Second. All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this? Anyone opposed to this? If not, would you call for the vote?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 5 is consider approval of emergency provision for ordinance number 93120, it being immediately necessary for the preservation of the peace, health, and safety, and public good of the city of Moore and the inhabitants thereof, that the provisions of this ordinance be put in full force and effect. An emergency is hereby declared to exist by reason whereof this ordinance shall take effect and be in full force and effect from and after the date provided herein as provided by law. That's a lot of legal.
Mayor and Council, we added the emergency provision on this so that this ordinance would go into effect immediately. That way, this tract of property out there, they can come in, get their water service signed up immediately, they get their sewer, utilities, all of that, and police and fire protection, you know, immediately, without having to wait 30 days before it went into effect.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Any other discussion on this item? I think we've already done this, haven't we? Would you call for the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, it is approved. Item number 6 is consider approval of a contract amendment with Barrett L. Williamson Architects Incorporated for design of 15,000 square foot animal shelter.
Mayor and Council, this contract amendment is for the detailed design of the animal shelter. Mr. Williamson has done the initial design. I've sent the pictures of what the initial design back to the council members back in October, so if you've had a chance to review that, this is just a chance, this is an opportunity to go ahead and move forward with the design, the detailed design, and all the other things that are involved in what the architect does. We've got a funding source for this to take care of it. Mr. Williamson is here to answer any questions. If you have any, recommend approval.
Thank you, Melissa, and everyone else working so hard on this.
We're excited about it. We're excited that it will be a reality someday.
Nice
So-
project.
I know a lot of time's gone into it.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, thank you, Bob. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 7 is consider an approval of an agreement with Pinnacle Consulting Management Group Incorporated for the amount of $207,400 for property acquisition services for the Southeast 4th Street Railroad underpass project.
Mayor and council, we are about, we've completed and we've received and they've completed 60% of the plans for the Southeast 4th Railroad Street underpass project. And so we've also had several months of coordination work with the different utility companies. And we have a very good idea now where all of the utilities want to relocate their utilities as it relates to that project. And so it's time now to go ahead and move forward with a property acquisition services agreement and hire a company to take care of. We're really, by calling it a property services acquisition agreement, we're taking care of everything from title, the title company, the right-of-way staking, surveying, appraisals. We're following ODOT's process of having a review appraisal after the original appraisal, which is very important if we do have relocations. This company also does the right-of-way acquisition and also relocations. They do the negotiations with the property owners. Mr. Stan Drake, of course, will be assisting and helping Pinnacle as far as introductions to the people who own the properties and helping with that process. The fee for this, all of these services is, as he says, $207,400. However, I'll say that's a worst-case scenario. As an example, we've listed 11 businesses that need to be relocated or would be possibly relocated. However, the little strip mall east of the chiropractor has 8 spaces. 4 of those are already vacant, so we wouldn't see any relocations at that. So, however, the fee, we will pay them based on the actual number of properties and parcels that we relocate. So, with that, we would recommend that we approve the contract and move forward and start that process.
Make a motion, we approve. Oh, sorry, go ahead, did you have a question?
Go ahead.
No.
How far are we from starting the project?
Actually, construction, we do not, the schedule that Poe and Associates has provided us is that we anticipate that we'll have a bid packet ready to go out to bid for construction contractors, not until May of 2021. So we're still not quite a year and a half away.
Okay. So this $207,400 is everything except for the cost of the property?
Yes, we would do the appraisal and then that's,
So
you're
the
correct.
cost of the property is above and beyond this?
Yes. I think the budget number, I believe, is somewhere in the neighborhood of $3.5 million or something like that.
Almost $4 million, $3,895,000.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve?
We got a motion, I think, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'll have a motion.
You want a second?
Oh, yes, second, sorry.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anybody opposed to this project? Anyone like to speak on it? If not, would you call for the vote?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams. Adam Webb.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 8 is consider approval of a contract with Meshach and Associates for engineering services in the amount of $23,400 for preparation of grading plans for modification of an existing retention pond to a dry detention facility in the Falls Addition, plus an estimated $4,200 for on-call construction services if necessary.
Mayor and council, as you're aware, we do receive quite a few complaints with regards to the pond in the Falls Addition. It is really a wet retention pond. It does hold water and has, becomes a mosquito trap at times where after we have heavy rains. It's difficult to maintain with regards to the cattails and just working with the water, usually full of water. So what we're trying to do here is reduce the amount of maintenance that's required over time by changing it from a wet detention pond to a dry detention pond, where that we provide, we need a grading plan that would provide, as soon as the water comes in, it would release out through an outfall And that way, you know, it would remain dry. They could use it to play soccer or do different things in the detention pond as a dry detention pond. And we would ask that you approve the contract for Mishek and Associates to prepare the plans for this.
Make a motion, we approve.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? If not, would you call for the vote?
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Adam Webb?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Glenn Lewis?
Yes. Item carries. Item number 9 is considered the appointment of citizens William Jones and David Roberts from Ward 1, Marlene Wood and Robert Clark from Ward 2, and Aiden Street from Ward 3 to serve as commissioners of the Amore Urban Renewal Authority. And Brooks, you had something on this?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, our attorney, Emily Pomeroy, has asked me to read the following statement as a reference, so we have the proper verbiage for this. Consistent with prior authorization of the City Council and after consultation with council members, the mayor recommends for the council's approval the appointment of the following people as commissioners of the Amore Urban Renewal Authority: William Jones, Dave Roberts, Marlene Wood, Robert Clark, and Aiden Street. Recommend approval.
All right.
Thank you to everyone that's
Yes.
Yes.
volunteered to be on this.
Yes.
Thank
There was
Put
a lot.
in the time and work.
Appreciate it.
Motion to approve.
All right. Thank you very much.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Adam Webb?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Glenn Lewis?
Yes, item carries. Item number 10 is consider ordinance number 93020, amending Part 17, Chapter 3, Section 17-303 of the Moore Municipal Code by further defining when customer assistance program in response to sanitary sewer backups will be offered, providing for regular and providing for severability.
Mayor and Council, this ordinance changes the current method of determining eligibility for the customer assistance program. It would allow for a homeowner to take advantage of the program when a prior owner failed to install a backflow preventer device after receiving a letter from us. How it works right now is, for example, would be if you had a sewer backup in your home and we offered you the customer assistance program and he takes advantage of that, he will then receive a letter from my office that says you've had the customer assistance program offered to you, you took advantage of that, you have to have a backflow preventer device installed. Failure to do so, we're not going to offer this service to you. Problem with that is that you don't have that device installed. You then sell the home to you then get a sewer backup, and what happens is we would then come out to your home, and well, your address is on the list of already being told you need to get a backflow preventer device installed. And I hate to say this on a sewer backup kind of a case, but he's coming to the city with clean hands. He didn't have knowledge of that. So what this does is this corrects that problem, and what we will do is it'll be a kind of a two-step process, and I've talked it over with Robert as well, that what we do now is when somebody comes out there, we will look to see if that address is on our database that we keep a list of. Right now, if that list is on there, we don't offer it. But now it'll be a second step will be taking place where if the address is on there, we will then check to see if the current owner is the owner that I had sent that letter to in the past. And if it's not, then we're going to go and offer the customer assistance program to that new homeowner. That's the change that this ordinance is about to ask for approval on that.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All right, thank you both. Any other discussion on this item? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Adam Webb?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Glenn Lewis?
Yes, item carries. At this time, we will recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Excuse me. Item number 11 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held December 16, 2019. Item B is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2019-2020 in the amount of $256,038.89.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is the consent docket. Would you call for the vote, please?
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 12 is consider approval of an addendum to the administrative services agreement between the Moore Public Works Authority and the Delta Dental Plan of Oklahoma with an effective date of January 1st, 2020.
Mayor and trustees, the Human Resources Department is requesting your approval of the renewal of our group dental plan with Delta Dental effective January 1st, 2020. There are 2 changes to the plan for 2020. The first is a change to a new employee's eligibility date to match our health insurance eligibility date, which is the first of the month following the first day of continuous full-time employment. Up to this point, an employee was not eligible for benefits until the first of the month following a 30-day waiting period after their first day of continuous full-time employment. The second change is a small increase in the administrative fee we will pay per enrolled primary member per month. Currently, that fee is $5.29 and has been that fee since at least 2010. For 2020, that fee will increase to $6.10. Staff recommends approval.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 13 is consider approval of an option proposed by Oklahoma Water Resources Board in applying savings related to the refinance of OWRD bonds.
Mayor and Council, the Oklahoma Water Resources Board has recently refinanced the bonds that our loans are pledged to, and they would like to share these savings with us and provide us with 3 options on how to apply these savings. The 3 loans for savings would apply to have approximately 13 years remaining. Therefore, we believe options 1 and 3 would have minimal budget impact. Option 2 would allow us to take all the savings up front as a credit on our March 20 debt service payments, which we believe is the best option. If council agrees, staff would make a recommendation to council as part of the fiscal year 20 budget process as to how to allocate those funds. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Will you explain the 3 options to me?
The first option is to,
Just to start and clarify, the Water Resource Board refinanced for a lower, and now they're going to give us the money back, and we get to pick which option we take, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm clear on that. And if you'll explain the 3 options.
okay, the first option is to have the loan maturity remain the same with a reduction in debt service over the life of the loan.
And we have 13 years left on these loans?
Right.
Okay.
So that would show a savings of $55,518.
How much is left on those 13 years? What's the amount of the debt?
It depends on which, there's 3 debt service payments. So on the first one, we have $1.4 million. On the 08 CWA, we have $31 million left. And on the 10 CW, we have $4.8 million.
So we're talking about 37 million total?
Yes.
Okay. So the first one, we save $721,000 out of the $34 million by the time it's said and done. And we're still gonna wait the 13 years to pay.
Yes.
Okay. Then option 2?
Is to take the savings all up front through not making as large of a loan payment in March. One time, yes.
We put that money back into the budget in 2020.
And we're recommending in 2021, right?
2021,
Right,
yes, right. We're in
right, it
2020.
would remain in our
Right.
budget this year, and then we would reallocate it depending on how council would like to do that.
Okay.
And then option 3 is to pay off the remaining balance of the loan. we have 13 years, so the loans are, what I've read, are quite large. None of it would pay any of it off. Right.
That's weird, that's even an option. I
Yeah.
just want to throw that out there.
Okay. So really, option 1 and 2 are only options.
Well, the reason why 3 is important is because once we take advantage of any of these, that option's no longer on
Right,
the table,
right.
period. You can't pay, you can't prepay.
You can't
after
prepay,
this,
right.
yeah. So it's a one-time
Right.
shot
Right.
to repay
To repay.
if we had $36 million.
$6 sitting, right, right.
So what was your recommendation?
Option 2, to take the savings now.
So I'm gonna ask you a silly question.
Okay.
Explain to me why you believe option 2 is the best. Why do we come out financially ahead with option 2? More so, do we save more in?
I think it gives the council flexibility as to be able to utilize those funds for projects either related to the Water Resources Board.
Because we're talking long term,
Right.
there's $100,000 more on the table than option 1, right? We just see it over 13 years rather than seeing it
Right.
one time.
So if we used inflation, is that $100,000 worth it?
Yeah.
Great.
Mayor and council, we felt that option 2 would give us more budget flexibility as far as taking the money up front to potentially allocate towards other projects, depending on what the desire of the council is, as opposed to if we stay with option 1, then really all we're doing is adjusting the debt service payment, and there's no additional budget flexibility within the next 13 years.
Right, so we're still going to pay it off in 13
Right,
years, we're not
right,
paying it
yeah.
off early.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I make a motion that we approve option 2.
Second.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other comments on this? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we will recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item number 14 is consent docket. Item A is accept the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held December 16, 2019. Item B is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2019 to 2020 in the amount of $480,089.06.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. It's a consent docket. Would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we'll recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and reconvene the City Council meeting. Item 15, item A is citizens forum for items not on the agenda. There's no one signed up. Would anyone like to speak? Okay. Item B is items from the City Council or trustees. Okay. Item C, items from the city manager or trust manager.
Mayor and council, you all received copies of the annual audit report. Our auditor will be at the next meeting to go over the report. Just as a preview, we received a modified opinion, which is a clean opinion, which is the one that you want to get. So congratulations to the city staff for another job well done for the past year. That's all I've got.
All right. Item 16 is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you.
So.
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you for coming. I know you like those. I don't have to get those.
I don't anymore. You know what?
don't?
I don't know if I have, maybe I'll have to take my dues. I don't serve on the board anymore, so.
Listen, and so I pass them over to you.
Yeah. Their executive director just left. So,
really?
Yeah, she retired from us.
Have a nice day, Jim. See you guys.
I was sitting over there in my area, so.
Get it off, don't worry about it.
Because it's so close to.
Did you grab, did you already yank the USB out of me?
I know, I knew it was my ward, and I need pictures, like, sometimes I just need people to talk to me like I'm a 20-year-old. Okay.
All right, so you should be good.
And I've driven by Blue Lake 100 times, and I'm using it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because going into it, I was like, man, the freaking Blue Breeze has been on fire.
There's several.
But I mean,
Okay.
you know, I guess the problem is like consistency with Cousins is like, so we'll see against the 49ers. If they have a bad day, we'll see.
I told him, I said, I know what I said. I said, yeah, I know better.
Sweet.
I think so. All right, well, you have a good one, sir. At least until March, I think. Okay. Trying to do stuff, all the stuff that we spent the last 6 months planning and organizing now.
Oh, that's good.
Hey, Melissa, Lois said something about having to go to the dog shelter, the animal shelter. I told him myself that whenever he wants to do it.
Okay, yeah.
We might go back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
So, I don't think you kind of got that.
Probably, does he have a kid?
You don't think they
I
do?
have a lot of people live around.
Yeah.
So I just really, and it's legally parked.
Parts there probably, that way everybody can get in
Yep,
and out
I
of the
know
driveway.
exactly how he does it.
He called back, I guess he's gonna call the talking police department.
Now, they hired Dick Elvis to fix it for her.
Yeah.
By the way, you do a very good job every time.
Yeah, that's what I said. She said, I want to grow.
Found myself.
Not lately, but thanks.
Street view, you know, the whole thing, and I drove it. So, I called him back.
What's his
I
objection?
think they're gonna move it.
What is, how does it make him feel?
People get money. They get.
That's why, is it just because he has to look at it? That's not a big objection.
How much they,
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said something about it.
I don't even know.